Hello again, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about whether or not you were really with a narcissist. And I'm going to give you 10 ways that you can know. So, oftentimes, I get awesome comments from all of you guys, and not trying to be condescending to anybody that's commented on any of my videos, but I just want to point some things out because there's still some confusion at times for certain people. They will talk about the narcissist they were with, and it just won't line up with what a narcissist really is. Let me give you a few examples. They will sometimes say, well, my narcissist, I didn't really figure out who they were until 2, 3 years down the road. She kept the mask on for 2 years. No, they didn't. Narcissists cannot keep the mask on for 2+ years. They're not capable of it. You usually have 3 to 6 months. I know people say that as a standard, but it's true, and it's usually closer to the 3 month mark. You're a narcissist. You weren't with a narcissist if they kept the mask on for 2 years or even longer than 3 to 6 months. I've also heard, well, the narcissist I was with, I mean, he was a Christian. He was a Christian. Yet again, no, they weren't. Maybe they were Christian by name. Maybe they told you they were a Christian, but I guarantee you their actions did not align with the teachings of Christ or the Bible. Promise you 100%. And as I go through these things, you're going to see what a real narcissist looks like. So if you were with one who was a Christian, a good, devout, well, simply wasn't a narcissist. Also, I hear people say things like, well, she was really faithful to me. She had a lot of problems. She did this, did that, but she never cheated. She was faithful. Yet again, you weren't with a narcissist, and I'm going to talk about that. So, what I'm going to give you now are 10 ways to know, or 10 practices, things that really align with what a narcissist is. And I'm going to make a distinction. These things are chiefly the covert narcissist, particularly the female covert narcissist, but I truly believe all 10 of these apply to the covert narcissist, men and women, and they're going to apply most, if not all, to the grandiose narcissist as well. But for sure, the covert narcissist. So here we go. Number one, you were with a narcissist if things went way too fast. If this person was trying to progress the relationship at warp speed, if this person was pressing down on the gas pedal, they wanted you to commit. They wanted to be around you really early, really often, excessive texting, probably excessive phone calls, or just, if not even that, you just found yourself in a relationship, which is really an entanglement, as we now know, but you found yourself in a full fledged, out and out relationship with somebody really quickly, probably probably in weeks, certainly in within a couple months. Well, that's probably a narcissist. Good chance. Now, I also want to say while I'm thinking about it, one of these things, or two of these things, or even three of these things do not necessarily make a narcissist. But if you put them all together, that's what you're dealing with. So that's number one. Things went way too fast. Two, they mirrored you. Absolutely. They got their opinions and they did research on you probably before you ever met, or at least right out of the gate when you met, and they figured out what makes you tick. They figured out what you are about. They figured out the things you're interested in, hobbies, passions. Are you a family man, a family woman? What drives you, motivates you? And they then portrayed those same things back to you. So, like for me, she knew I was very serious about my faith. So, what do you know? This person is devout, turning over a new leaf in her life, wants to talk about scripture and send scripture passages, and wants to portray this world that we could have together as a Christian couple, just among other things. Plenty of other. Might mirror that they're all into their kids because you're a passionate mother or father. So, well, so are they. They're going to show you pictures of them with their kids and so many things. But they're going to mirror back at you who you are and what you want to see in a person. A good indicator of a person, if you're dealing with to know they're not a narcissist, is if you know they're not making any effort to appear as something else. Everyone's going to have some alignment. Everyone's going to have some things where you do mirror each other because you should have some commonalities and some common beliefs. And you got to be careful you don't pigeonhole someone because they're like, oh, yeah, I agree with you on that or this or the other thing. That doesn't mean they're mirroring you. But if everything is always like that, watch out. Three, classic, but I got to say it. They love bombed the heck out of you. Yes, they did. And by that we mean overabundance of affection, overabundance of compliments, overabundance of just attention in general. They were trying to show you what life with them was going to be like, supposedly, even though it would never would. What could have been never would have been with the narcissist. But they're going to make sure they build you up and butter you up and grease both sides of the skillet, so to speak, because they want to make sure you believe they are something that they are not, and that you're being sold a fantasy. Future faked, didn't specifically put that on there, but the love bombing also speaks to future faking because you think you're going to get this kind of treatment for the rest of the relationship. No, you're going to get it until they think they have you, and then you're going to start to get criticized and devalued. So I'll get to that. Four, they triangulated you. If you don't know what triangulation is, it's where they bring a third person, one, two, three. There's you two, and then there's a third person who comes into the mix of the relationship in some way, shape, or form. It's usually an ex. It's usually a someone that they're already talking to. It could they could triangulate you with other people, other friends, coworkers, kids, parents, where they're going to bring that person in to invoke jealousy in the relationship, to pit you against one another, to invoke that jealousy, to make you feel this big. And other ways they'll do that as examples, you're out to dinner with the narcissist and you sit down and you have a waiter or waitress of the opposite sex. And that narcissist right in front of you might look at them and give them the smirky face, googly eyes. And you said, what on earth was that? Well, that was them triangulating you. They were pulling that person in to invoke jealousy right in front of your face. And then after that, they probably gaslighted you and said that, oh, well, it was actually your fault because you were looking at other people yesterday and whatever. But they are going to continually bring up, oftentimes, exes, bring up random names you've never heard of, and then say, oh, I dated that person. Or I was at the grocery store and this person followed me around. Or this person at work is always hanging around me and they really, but they're not going to distance themselves and say, "Oh, I got away from it. I dropped that person. I made sure I distanced myself." No, because they like that attention and they like to triangulate you. So if you're with a narcissist, you better believe you're going to get that, and you'll even get that during the love bomb. At least I did. Just weird little comments to invoke jealousy about people of the opposite sex that make you go, "Why would somebody who likes me and wants to date me say that?" Because they were pushing your boundaries and they were triangulating you. Another one, they had other, along those lines, they had other people in the background from day one, right out of the gate. Now, did you know that? Obviously, you didn't know that at the time because if you were seeing somebody and they are still attached to an ex or someone else, you're not going to enter into that relationship. If you knew that, you're not going to do it. So, but they did it from the beginning. And so I have to laugh when people tell me, well, my narcissist was faithful. They were never faithful from day one. They are unfaithful people. They do cheat. Every narcissist who can cheat is going to cheat. You're never the only person in their lives. And I'll go so far as to say that in a romantic relationship, I'm not just saying that they have flying monkeys and other people, family in their lives. I'm saying they have other romantic interests from day one and at all times and ever changing probably. That's why they can go right on, boom, after the relationship like nothing ever happened because they already had those people set up in place. If you're with a narcissist and you think you're the only person in their lives, you are so sorely mistaken. Okay, moving on. If you were with a narcissist, you were with somebody who was extremely critical. They, after the love bomb ended and they thought they had you for whatever the reasons, said I loved you, or you moved in together, or you got pregnant, or whatever it is, from that point on, they are going to criticize the living daylights out of you. Every little thing you do is wrong. You can't cook, you can't clean, you can't drive, you're not smart, you're not interesting, you're a bad partner, you're not reliable, and they're going to project things onto them. And basically, everything that they criticize you about is called projection, is true of them. They will project who they are on to you. So when they say, yeah, you're not faithful and you're not reliable and you're a bad partner and you're bad at this, that is just to criticize and belittle you, but it's also oftentimes telling you who they really are. So, yeah, you're going to get abused to oblivion. You better be ready to get a heaping dose of pure, nasty, vitriolic criticism every day at that relationship, unless, well, something else is occurring, which I'll get to in a minute. The roller coaster. There's no way on earth that you can be with a narcissist and not have this experience or feel like you're in a washing machine getting tossed around. You get disoriented. You can't see straight. You can't see heads for tails. And that's not, this video is not about the narcissistic spell or the trauma bond, but that's a whole other thing I've covered a lot. But the point is, if you're with a narcissist, it will be anything but stable. You will not know 1 minute to the next what you're going to get. You'll get a nice day followed by 3 bad ones. You'll get 3 decent days followed by a week of silent treatment. You never know where you stand. You never know where the relationship stands. You never know if you even have one. So it will be a toxic roller coaster ride from the depths of hell, and there's no way around it. If you're in a relationship with somebody and it's even relatively stable, you know what to expect a lot of the time. That's not a narcissist because they don't play that way. That way, they thrive off of chaos. They have to have it. So stability makes them sick. They're never going to do that. Moving on, they breadcrumbed you. Yeah. So this is why I said the difference. You're going to get some good behavior at times because they're going to breadcrumb you, meaning they're going to give this little tiny breadcrumb of what you saw in the beginning and what you want and what you think and what you believe so they can continually confuse you. Because when things are so bad and they know you're pulling away or they know it's kind of imploding, they're going to sprinkle in that little bit of who they used to be and makes you go, huh. You wake up from your stupor for a minute and you go, oh, there you are. You're the person I saw from the beginning. You're back. Yes. And you get complacent and you get at peace and it feels good. And that is by design to keep you in the mix and in the toxic entanglement. It's not them. It never was them. But they're going to show up periodically, little times, to make sure they keep you in the game. As I say so many times, breadcrumbing is how the narcissist keeps you in the game. So they did that. I got 2 left. Next one. You never felt like they were all in. I'm talking about even, I'm going to say probably even during the love bomb stage, because the relationship never felt right. Did a video on that. The relationship with a narcissist never feels right. It never does. But even from the beginning, and especially as things progress, you will have this feeling the entire time that that person is simply not invested in the relationship. You may even find yourself pleading with them, go all in with me. Go all in on this relationship. You're not all in. Or you might find yourself praying out to God, please, please help this person. Please help this person to be all in the same way that I am all in. And you want it so badly, and you're never going to get it, and you never had it. There is a feeling the entire time, because it's the reality, that they had 1 foot out the door, and that goes back to the fact that they always had people behind the scenes. And they never intended to have a loving, lasting, faithful, committed relationship to you. That was never in the cards. It's never from the first second what they wanted to have. So they're always off somewhere else, mentally and even physically. They are not all in. 1 foot is out the door all the time, and you perceive it and you ignore it for the duration of the relationship. until you have had enough. Last one. I guarantee you the relationship will worsen as time goes on. It'll get worse and worse. It's basically like a bunch of mini cycles with them that sort of speed up and get worse as it goes. This constant push pull pattern of they're in and they're out and they love you and they hate you and that all these cycles, many breakups, many discards, and you're back together, and then you're I don't know where we are, then we're back, and I don't know where we are, then we're back. That speeds up as time goes on, and it worsens. See, even the bad, the negativity, the toxic cycle, even that's not consistent because it speeds up and gets worse as time goes on. And you'll notice, and that's why you notice one day, however long it takes you, you'll say, man, this relationship has gotten out of control. How did I end up here? How did this happen to me? Because it does that. You're sucked in, and that process is slow and gradual, like a python squeezing the life out of you, and it gets worse and worse. The relationship cannot improve, and it cannot stay stable. So understand, guys, there's a lot of other things I could have mentioned, but I think these 10 really do it. You put these together, if you're with a true narcissist, particularly a covert, then they're going to do these things. If you're going to tell me in comments or emails or anything else, and I'm always respectful about it, I'll just politely say, well, you're wrong. You weren't with a narcissist. It's okay. Maybe you were with a really bad person, but it wasn't a narcissist. Because if you're going to tell me things didn't move fast, or they didn't mirror you, or they didn't love bomb you, or they didn't triangulate you, that they didn't have other people in the background, that they weren't critical, that the relationship was stable, if you're going to tell me that they didn't breadcrumb you, if you're going to say you felt like they were all in at any point, and if you're going to tell me that relationship did not get worse over time, I'm going to tell you 100% of the time that was not a narcissist. It wasn't. So, guys, drop comments below on your experiences and what things you think I left out. I just try to summarize it into 10. I know there's more. Anyway, if you really want to know, was I really with a narcissist or am I with a narcissist? Go back and play this video as many times as you need. So, anyway, guys, thanks for following this video and my work, for commenting. I love each and every one of you guys, and I want you to be free from these people forever. So thanks a lot. I'll come at you with another one soon. And until then, God bless.